I burnt out with gardening because we garden year round. Today's the day I'm going unscripted and showing you around my garden. There's a lot that needs to be done. Hi, if you're new around here, I'm Chiming. I'm a garden designer and educator here in Los Angeles, California, and it is now March and it's sunny. We are hitting highs of anywhere between 70s and 80s during the day. And let me just show you the state of my garden right now. Some of you will be impressed because I have tomatoes on the vine. Some of you will be thinking, wow, she don't know what she's doing. But it's really, I ran out of steam. I burnt out a little. Spring is nipping at my heels and I'm behind. So let me show you around. All right, here I have freesia, and yes, I am in pajamas because I rolled out of bed. I had a lot of meetings canceled and I get to play in the garden now. So anyway, I have a lot of freesia right here. I didn't dig out the bulbs. I just stuck them into this wine barrel and now I have so much freesia and it smells amazing. It's one of the best smelling flowers. If you like scented florals, freesia is a must. Anyway, let's go this way. My foot is burning because I'm wearing flip-flops and California thing, I know, but yeah, poked myself in the foot. Okay, I also have a ton of grass weed because this used to be a lawn. We're in 2025. This used to be a lawn until 2020. So a lot of this is coming back. I haven't done a very good job of buying mulch because who wants to buy mulch? Mulch costs a lot and it's not pretty. I mean, it's not a flower. It is pretty when it's done right. So I need to actually invest in some mulch to keep these weeds down. But otherwise, let me show you. As I get poked, I have large clumps of grass. You know what? I really should have worn shoes. I have rose prunings. It's a hot mess over here, but don't worry. You get to watch. This is March. Just wait as I get this all cleaned up. So big clump of grass. I'm gonna feed this to my chickens. I probably should not throw this back where I can step on it because that hurts. So that's going to the chickens. Over here in this trellis, you can see I'm only 5'4", so you can see how tall this thing is. I wanna say it's probably easily 8 to 9 feet tall and probably closer to 9 feet. And I have tomatoes here. Let me pull it and I'll show you. Well, I've left them and pollinator babies got some right there. So that's not gonna be eaten by us. This one is not so pretty. Probably the elements got to it. Won't be eating that one. But this one, you can see it. This one looks good. So this is cherry chocolate sprinkles. Okay, let's go over here. So in my wine barrels, sorry, I'm still chewing. How rude of me. Okay, so in my wine barrels, I have roses and freesia, and they're just doing their thing. Over here, I actually put tomatoes, but I did not plant them. I didn't have time. I laid the drip line across their little container and they grew like crazy. They've gone over to the other side. They've gone over to my neighbor's side. I actually cut it back and this is what's left. So I haven't decided, and this is the issue when it's my garden. When it's my client's garden, easy. Do this, do that, we're done. But when it's my own garden, it's a little bit harder to commit because look at how good these tomatoes are growing. Like I have, oops, okay, try not to step on the plants. I have flowering tomatoes, which means if I leave this alone, I'm going to have tomatoes all season long, right? But if I take it out, I'm gonna have to start over. So I am debating cutting some of it back so then I can have the tomatoes instead of cutting all of it back and having to start from scratch. These are all cherry varieties. They were from Pan American Seed. So, and then in this graveyard here, these are my dahlias. Now, I need to dig them out. And so when you dig, you want to make sure they all have a name and they're all very specific varieties. And most of them are, at least they were unicorns 1 or 2 years ago when I got them. And if you lose the name, then you kind of lose the value of that tuber. So I've just been lagging. Also, I want to transform this into not beds anymore right here. And that means I have to remove the beds. Where am I going to put them? All of those things. So in a previous video, you saw I moved a trellis here. So I want to build a small bed right here, and then I can plant some climbing roses. It'd be really pretty. And then over here, I want to turn this into a massive cottage garden inspired type of setup. It's probably like a 20 by 15 rectangular space right here. I have a flagstone pathway, and then right behind me, I have like a 3 by 5 maybe garden bed that has hydrangeas and blueberries. And I have a video on mixing hydrangeas and blueberries too. So then over here, I actually started this side of this wonderful arch that was also from my showcase garden. And I started the cottage situation over here, and I have hydrangeas, I have blueberries all inside the landscape right there. I also put my rose tree in the ground, but I lost count. I'm gonna have to count it again, but I think I have about 50 roses that need to be planted. They are either 1 gallon or 5 gallon size. And like you see, this is my front yard. There isn't a whole lot of space. I'll take you in the back in a minute, but this is my arch. I am going to plant, I have space for one more climbing on this side, which I have the rose, I just need to sink the hole and plant it. And then on this side, I have Arbor Rose Kiss Me Kate from Star Roses, and this is a lovely pink one. And what else can I tell you? Oh yeah, I have rose trees. Like everything just needs to be pruned. It needs to be removed or replanted. I have my work cut out in the next couple weeks. It's a little crazy. And then, yeah, so we'll go to the backyard and then you can see what else I'm doing. Okay, before we go to the backyard, I have the side yard here. And this is actually, you can see just on my driveway. And I have roses that I never sunk into the ground. I never potted. I ran out of time. I have to prune them, and they're already flowering, and it's a hot mess. Anyway, okay, so now we're in my backyard, and just to give context of the amount of space, this looks a lot bigger on screen than it is in person. So my whole entire lot is only 5,000 square feet. That includes my house, includes my garage and my greenhouse on top of it. So I garden a lot in raised beds because you can see right there, that is concrete. When I bought my house in 2019, the entire backyard was concrete. And there might be about 6 feet on the side over here. You can see there's like about 6 feet that wraps around the entire backyard, and then it's stopped by the garage. And then we actually tore out some concrete that was behind the garage, and that's where my chicken coop and stuff is today. But let me take you over by my greenhouse. So over here, you're on my tripod. It's a bit like I said, we're in transition here. It feels like we're always in transition, but for real, it needs to be transitioned and moved on. Here we have a bunch of dahlias that I planted last year, and I never dug them out. And clearly they're very happy. It never got too cold, so they're blooming for me. I have a very hard time cutting this back. This particular one is called Ask with Minnie. Lovely one. I have a few others, but I haven't decided. I'd love to get your feedback. What you think? If I should leave it, should I take it out? Should I dig and should I separate tubers? Or should I just leave it alone because it looks fantastic? So down here, there's a lot of weeds, but in these pots are more tubers. And then that's dahlias on that side. And on this side, these are a ton of roses that need to be planted. And I have a video on roses that you should definitely check out. And then on this side, I started a bunch of leafy greens, some root veggies, and my dog decided to get in it and dig around. It's quite upsetting. I don't know if you can see it, but right here, I gotta walk all the way around because I have so many plants in pots everywhere. And I don't really identify as a container gardener. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize this thing was hanging. I don't really identify as a container gardener, but clearly I have a lot of containers. So right here, she dug all this out, and you can see like my plant is barely hanging on to the side of it, like all the way down. She dug a big giant hole. She keeps hopping in it, but I will likely harvest this. Let's see if I can, any of this is ready to harvest. I mean, these are radishes. Let me see how big this is. Sometimes I like to test it out. So this is it's a little baby one still. They can probably go for another 2 weeks, but we can eat that. And then I figure I'll take you inside the greenhouse. Now we're inside the greenhouse. I often leave the door cracked just for more airflow because it does get pretty toasty because of the sun. But I have all of these seedlings. You see right there. And it's a lot of lettuces and brassicas like bok choy and gailon. So I'm really excited for that. It might be a little late, but we're gonna try. And then I have a ton of ranunculus already started that needs to get planted out somewhere. And then I have even more seeds down here in the wind strip trays. These are all, the entire thing is actually a choisum. It's a brassica, really tasty green that we're gonna see. I need to plant this somewhere. So maybe where my dog messed up the garden, I'm gonna put it in there. And here I have a bunch of lettuces started hydroponically. And so let's see if I can pull this out. Aha, you can see right there. This is in a growing medium and you can see the roots. And I'm gonna pop this into my lettuce grow. So we're gonna have lots and lots of leafy greens. I didn't label it. I'll figure it out as I go. Not a big deal. I have, let's see what I have. I have a lychee tree in here. I also have a tripod because I film in here, but lychee tree, I have camellia, I have weeds, and I have tulips on the bottom there. These are some dahlias that probably need to get planted. They never found a home, lived in a 4-inch. And then on this side, this is my seed starting setup right here. So here, you can see here, I have like a soil tray. I really like that because you can fill really quickly. And I think I either have a video already or I'm going to post one about seed starting. And so I have my setup of all the different seed starting containers. And again, there's a video for that. I tested out the Swift blocker. So you can see these are all dry. So, but you can see like this is what a soil block will look like. And I made these before I left for the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and I never planted in it, so I didn't kill anything. I just didn't plant in it. But if I added water in the bottom, it might fill up and I might still be able to use it. Otherwise, I'll just stick it back into the tray and repurpose that. So I also have these ones already started and need to be planted out. So then there's also the green stalk, the brand new, they just launched it this year. It's so cute and it's really big. So if you wanted a side-by-side comparison of the Epic gardening trays, these are definitely deeper. So maybe I will put sweet peas or something that has a bigger taproot into the I can't even think right now, into the container to give it its head start. Okay, this mic situation, I don't know what's going on. Hot mess. Today is hot mess gardening. It's getting really warm in here. Let's go outside. Oh, I wanted to show you my loquats. Do you see these? Right here. It is so nice to have fruit year round. These will probably be ready to harvest we're in March, April, I would say like April, May-ish. They should be ready to harvest, but you can see right there, there's a ton. And then we're gonna go back this way. So I have citrus trees, I have fig trees, I have my chickens back here. Let me move this around so you can see. And this is my avocado tree. I also have a second avocado tree right here. This is really heavy. So this is my second avocado tree, and it's a special variety. Been growing it in this pot. I think I'm ready to commit to more fruit trees in the ground. When I moved in 2019, that was one of the first things I did was plant. I have a guava tree, a wax apple tree, the avocado tree I just showed you, and a lemon and a lime. So that's 5 trees I sunk in the ground, and I knew I wanted to have them. But all my other trees are in containers. So I have dragon fruit that I'm growing. It's a vining cactus, tropical cactus, but I have it growing as kind of like a tree form because it's trellised upward. And I'm ready to redo that. This is my favorite fig. It's just starting to wake up. It's called a panache fig or a tiger fig, and it tastes like strawberry jam on the inside. You should be able to find this one now. I think maybe 3-4 years ago, it was a lot harder to find. Now I think with so many people getting into figs, this is more common now than it was before. It used to be maybe harder to find, but I think with the increase in gardening, there's a lot more propagation of this one. And it's green and yellow striped, which makes it super fun and cool. Then over here, I actually have pluot trees. Actually, no, these are plueri trees. Sorry. And over here, I have plueri trees. And this is gonna really upset people, but I have it 3-in-1 because this is based on the 3-in-1 in a hole of planting fruit trees into the ground, and because I wasn't ready to commit, I put it in a really big pot. So this is the really big pot. Here's 1, here's 2, and 3 right here. So with plueri trees, they are a hybrid between the plum and the cherry, and you can see up here, it's already waking up. And yeah, I need to plant it. So I'm also gonna poke an eye out. Good thing I have glasses on right now. But I like to test out a lot of things in my garden so I can actually answer client questions truthfully and also from my own experience. So I grow a lot of things, and then the things that I get tired of or I don't want to grow anymore or I'm done experimenting, they move over to my mom's house. Also have a video on that one too. Speaking of my mom, this tree right here in the far back is my guava tree, and it started as an air layered branch from my mom's tree that we planted in 2019. And now you can tell it's like really, really tall. You can tell it's really tall. It's probably over 20 feet. Maybe it's probably, it's probably over 15 feet now. I had goals of air layering it, but again, I didn't do it because I felt like I needed to get it on video, and I just never did it. So I might just print it back once it's done fruiting. It's almost there. What else can I show you? So over on this side are my lettuce grows. This is where I grow hydroponically, and I like growing some leafy greens hydroponically because there's less likelihood of pests on there. There's less likelihood of slugs, all of those things crawling on my greens because they're more tender and you can't really scrub those. And sometimes it's a mental thing. I just prefer them to be over there. Okay, so in the next couple weeks, I gotta redo this entire space because spring is here. I need planting space. My dog keeps busting into my chicken coop and going after my chickens. So I'm gonna do a 2-gate approach. I have 1 gate there, but I'm going to make beds. I'm probably going to repurpose the beds in the front, make beds here with another door, so then I have more planting space and it's also away from my dog. And then the space behind the greenhouse, I still have some more space. If you haven't noticed, I am a maximalist in the garden. And if you've had a fun time with me just chit-chatting about my garden, then make sure you subscribe and so we can hang out in the next one. I'll see you.